Now we're going to talk about composing functions. So if you're given two functions, f and g, you can form a new function from these two called the composition of f and g, which is written as f, this little circle, then g of x, since it's a function of x. Or another way to write it is f parentheses g of x, because what this really means is we're going to plug g into f. And the way you could read this, which maybe makes that more apparent, is to call this f after g, since you're doing g first and then doing f to that, or f composed with g. Okay, so let's do some examples. Suppose we have f of x equals 2x and g of x equals x minus 3. And we want to find f after g of x. Well, what we do is we plug g into f. In other words, wherever we see an x appearing in the equation for f, we're going to replace that with the entire expression for g. So here, we only have an x right here, next to the 2, and we're going to replace that with g of x, since we're plugging g into the expression for f. And so what we get is 2 times, in parentheses, x minus 3. Now, we could also compose them the other way. So you look up here, we have g after f, or g of f of x. And now we're going to take the expression for f and plug it into g. So now, anytime we see an x in the expression for g, we replace that with f of x. So here we only have one x here. And so we replace that with f of x, which is 2x, and what we get is 2x minus 3. Okay, so now let's look at another example. F of x equals x squared plus x, g of x equals the absolute value of x. Now if we want to do f composed with g, or f after g of x, then we're going to plug g into f. So now wherever we see an x in this expression, we replace it with absolute value of x. And that's how we get absolute value of x squared plus absolute value of x. Again, we could go in the other direction and do g after f, and that's where we would plug f into the expression for g, which means we'll replace this x in the expression with g with all of f. And so this whole expression gets put in between these absolute value bars, and we get absolute value of x squared plus x.